Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
Well, I got to talk about the Alabama special election
Yeah.
yesterday because
Alabama. Yeah.
yes, Alabama. This is a huge deal because in 2022, Maryland Lands lost in a race for that seat. I think the result was 52 to 45.
Yeah, 7 points.
And the guy she lost to, David Cole, he is now obviously resigned from that seat because he was convicted of voter fraud. So where's that Price is Right sad horn? Because that's what happened. And so in this special election, Maryland Lands won that seat 62 to 37.
Yeah.
That is an enormous swing toward the Democrats in that district in Alabama.
That's why I read the tweet. Republicans have no idea what's coming in November.
Alabama.
Thank you, Chris.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't. They have no idea because the polls certainly aren't showing gigantic swings toward the Democrats like this. And so, and I don't think there was any polling in this particular special election, but regardless, the broader polling situation is not reflecting what's actually happening in elections.
and-
The Democrats are vastly outperforming the polls.
And I know Cavian Stroff tweeted Biden's strength now showing up in national poll after national poll, and all of a sudden the mainstream media obsession with polls is on pause. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
But I feel like it is really like a people power day between what happened in Alabama, and I love this. M. Markowitz tweets, Ronna McDaniel's NBC deal didn't last as long as Rachel Maddow's preamble to mentioning her name. Rachel does long setups. Ronna didn't even last that long.
No. And what's incredible about that is it's not just the partisanship. It's not just the participation in an attempted overthrow of our elections. This is the very fact that Ronna McDaniel sucked at her job.
Yes,
she was a terrible chairperson of the RNC.
Yeah.
She lost election after election after election, culminating in this one. A colossal swing, in a district that should be relatively safe for the Republicans.
Yeah. Too bad she wasn't there to comment on what happened in Alabama. It's like, oh, I know. You're a terrible, terrible party with terrible, terrible policies that people hate.
Right, exactly. Let that be her exit interview, what happened yesterday in that special election in the Alabama 10.
Yeah.
Because that is indicative of her entire run as Republican chair, on top of the fact that she's leaving with the RNC in serious financial trouble.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't entirely blame Ronna McDaniel for all of that. That's
by the way,
orange hobgoblin who is responsible for the takeover, the bust out of the Republican Party. Is what's happening.
Did you hear the latest story this morning that the interviews to work at the RNC, the only question they ask is, was the 2020 election stolen?
Yep.
And of course, if you say no, you don't get, that is the sole barometer of being
really
in this
is.
party now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I keep saying it's like that thing in Goodfellas where the mafia takes over a bar or some sort of establishment and then just starts running up all kinds of purchases on the bar's credit and then moving all the goods out of the back door and selling them at an extreme discount, but it's all profit because they're using the store's credit. This is what Donald Trump is doing to the Republican Party. He is pillaging. He's taken over the Republican Party. He's pillaging the Republican Party. And let this, on the serious side of this, let this be a warning for what he's planning to do to the United States, because it's not just going to be fascism and dictatorship. It's also going to be a gigantic kleptocracy.
Yeah.
And we've seen that play out in Russia, where, the Russian citizens, their money is fair game for the oligarchs and Vladimir Putin. So that's what Donald Trump craves more than anything, because we've seen his money issues played out on the public stage right now. And he would love it if he had an opportunity to just pillage the Treasury, pillage your banking accounts. That's kleptocracy. That's what he wants to do, because his hero in Russia.
And meanwhile, you commented on, his bond getting lower. You said the most loathsome pile of dog in America once again gets all kinds of special latitude and not afforded to millions of other defendants. And this complete BS about this being a victimless crime. No, we're all victims. All of us taxpayers, as someone pointed out, all the people that couldn't get loans because they were honest. A lot of that money went to someone that, lied egregiously, for years. And so I think that part, I take heart in this, New York, the election interference hush money case, because that's happening. That train is coming, Bob, April 15th.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Well, that's really exciting, and that's not going to be like the civil trials. There's going to be no wiggle room for Donald Trump and any of his effery. This has already been established. There's a gag rule laid down preemptively. There was a gag rule last week in terms of what Donald Trump can't say in the courtroom to try to influence the jury. So no acting out like he was doing in Judge Engoron's courtroom. So that's not going to happen this time around in Judge Merchan's courtroom. He's not going to stand for it. I mean, now we've seen in less than a week, we've seen 2 different court orders establishing rules for Donald Trump, and we'll see if he abides those rules. Right. And I'm looking forward to him not abiding those rules, quite honestly.
Yeah,
because
of course.
Trump always makes things worse for Trump.
There you go.
So
the Bob Cesca rule. Yeah. So let's just talk for a moment about because I really, when there's a tragedy that is so clear, like this, Baltimore thing where obviously the ship lost power, and I thought, oh no, they're not going to really, and of course they're going to blame Biden. But
of course,
I can't even. Yeah. I was trying to get my mind around, but again, I guess it's this thing. We're going to find out how many Americans are completely bat crazy and will believe any conspiracy theory, right? Mm-hmm. So we just played Maria Bartiromo. Said, it could be a cyber attack. She tried to connect it to the migrant crisis at the U.S. Okay, she said this is what you call death by 1,000 cuts. It's absolutely catastrophic attack on critical infrastructure, and you cannot see it because a cyber attack is unseen, just like the attack on 2020 on the voting machines that you cannot see. Are the cyber goblins here in the room with us, Lara?
Alex...
She said, this is a wake-up call. Open your eyes, realize what you're facing, because they cannot afford for this election to take place. They cannot afford for Donald Trump to come into power, and there's absolutely nothing they won't do. There was nothing they will stop at to prevent that from happening. So wait, the attack on the bridge...
I'm confused.
Was to stop Donald Trump from being elected? Okay.
It's her eyes let her see
things
differently.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah. It's words. Dark
she got fired.
Words.
Lara Lowe got fired for all the shit. What do they call, Jody? Factual errors in her Benghazi reporting. Alex Jones also argued the ship was forced into the bridge by a cyber attack, saying it looks deliberate. It could be the beginning of the opening salvo in World War III.
Yeah, with their tiny helicopters.
I was going to ask Alice, were the tiny airplanes involved? Do you think?
Was Barack Obama steering the barge toward the bridge using tiny helicopters and airplanes? Were they buzzing around there? Did you see any of those things? Did you see chemtrails?
Airplanes, obviously piloted by lizard people.
Oh, yeah.
Lizard people, that's right, shape-shifting lizard people, because they're turning the friggin' frogs gay, is what they're doing.
That work for
hormone mimickers in the juice boxes,
They work for Raytheon.
Yeah, Raytheon, Bechtel, IBM, the Bilderbergs, Trilateral Commission. I got the documents right here. Do you want to see the document? I printed out all the documents from Infowars.com, and I got them. I can prove to you that there were tiny lizards flying the tiny airplanes. Now I'm starting.
I know how to trigger Bob Cesca's Alex Jones impression, which I love so much. Okay.
I can do that all day. It's crazy. Yeah. I should be hacking up like a lung right now from doing that voice. I don't know how I'm able to survive.
All right, stop now. Speaking of crazy conspiracy theories, Kevin Stroff also tweets, RFK Jr.'s running mate, Nicole Shanahan, had an affair with far-right-wing billionaire Elon Musk that ended her marriage. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
So, she has the judgment to have the nuclear codes. And 2, paid millions for that RFK Jr. Super Bowl ad that offended his family members. She has 0 qualifications to be a heartbeat away from the presidency. But the terrifying part of that, Bob, is that she apparently has enough money that could get him on the ballot in swing states. Mm-hmm. And right now, speaking of crackpot conspiracy theorists, he's got somewhere like 9%, I think, in the latest polling. Which, we're all having
Connor
like Jill
Roy.
Stein, Ralph Nader PTSD, right?
That's right. If you remember Connor Roy from Succession,
Yeah.
that's about RFK's are in that range, and the Connor Roy 1% to 9%. Regardless, what this is for RFK is RFK relentlessly masturbating on the American people.
Yeah.
This is exactly because there's no chance of him winning a single district or a single state or getting a single electoral vote. This is not happening. He is there for the cynical cash grab and to quite potentially elect Donald Trump to
Yeah.
be president
Yeah.
again. And this is the entire thing. There is no chance. Let me talk to the people who are thinking about voting for RFK Jr. You're wasting your time
Do
and
we
your
need-
money. This is never going to happen. Give it up. Grow up.
Do we
Please
need any
grow
other
up.
ad other than that Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty gross. It's like having sex with like that
No.
water mozzarella. You know what I mean? Like a wad of that. You know the ball of mozzarella you get in
Yes.
the water.
I saw
Yeah,
him in the
yeah.
swimsuit.
That's Elon Musk.
Oh.
That's right.
It's
But he goes great on a pizza.
He is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's
Not as
pretty
cute.
right. He's Mr. Stay Puft.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Oh, dear Jesus.
He used to roast Stay Puft marshmallows at Camp Wakanda.
I mean, Greg Sargent, though, tweets, don't overlook this. RFK Jr.'s new running mate, Nicole Shanahan, has lots of money. That could fund his push for ballot access. Senior Dems tell me they worry he really might get on the ballot in many swing states. Time to get ready for that. Ay, 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 ay.
Yeah.
We live in the
And,
stupidest
you know,
timeline.
Yeah. Now, that's just it, Stephanie, because what I was going to say was this is not so much about RFK, but it's about there are a colossal number of stupid people who will go into a voting booth in November and say, RFK Jr., yoink. It's just a waste. What a waste of your vote. It's not going to matter. Just,
I know.
again, grow up.
Yeah.
I feel like William Shatner in that SNL sketch with the Star Trek convention.
Grow up. Get a life.
Get a life, you people.
Love
This
it.
is not going to work. He's not going to get a single electoral vote. See, I'm doing voices today. I'm sorry, Carlos. Carlos is coming on later, and now I'm super embarrassed because he's the guy.
I know. You know what I love? I love Bob Seska and anything Bob Seska adjacent. I thieved one of your co-hosts, Jody Hamilton, to be my executive producer. I had David Ferguson on this week who dropped an S-bomb because all of Spicy Jody rubbed off on Spicy David.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, David was spicy before there was Spicy Jody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
was the original spicy.
Yes.
But yeah.
I forgot
And
to I forgot to mention to him my favorite story when you when you were doing basically my eulogy on you and Jody were saying very super nice things to me, and I was sitting on the plane in Costa Rica at the holidays about ready to take off, and I'm like, well, this plane's definitely going down because I just heard my eulogy. But then David said, oh, can we please stop sucking her? She's not even listening to this. She's in Costa Rica.
David
was
always
listening.
drags us back to
was listening.
solid ground. Yeah.
Bob Seska Show, essential to America. Great Rachel Bidikofer interview this week, and just the best. The Bob Seska's
Cliff
the
Schechter
best.
today, and we got a brand new store open. Lots of new apparel and mugs and things like that. Just go to bobseska.com. The link is just under the logo, just under my bulbous head. It says new store. All you got to do is click that link. 35% off until the end of the month.
Wow.
Nice. Not bulbous, handsome head. Okay.